Hello, welcome back to another Hermes agent tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to set up some marketing automations with the weekly SEO report. You'll need to connect a Google Cloud console and your Google Search console. If you don't know how to do that, just ask Hermes or any AI platform and it'll walk you through it. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to create a report just like this. This is an Excel sheet created by Hermes, and also you'll be able to send yourself automated emails every week, every 2 weeks, every day, whatever you want. Having that Google Search Console API and the Google Cloud Console API is very powerful. You can also do things like connect Google Analytics, bunch of stuff. So let's get into it and walk through this. You can follow along on the sidebar right. So in today's walkthrough, I'm going to be using the new GLM 5.3. I have it on Max. I love GLM 5.3. I think it's really great. So now that my Google Search Console is connected, once you get that set up, you can ask Hermes just to verify it. Auth token is valid, no refresh needed, and we're ready to record. Okay, we are. So with the Google Search Console connected, we can do some cool things like this. Please pull up my top 10 search queries first here in chat. And I like GLM 5.3 because it's designed for agentic workflows. Like in reality, you'll be able to string together these sort of tasks one after the other, and it'll just go and do it, which I'll show you in a moment. So yeah, here now I can pull up my top 10 queries. This is how people are finding my content on my website. A lot of model comparisons and Hermes walkthroughs, as you've seen. If you're new to this channel, I do a bunch of Hermes walkthroughs. So yeah, I also post blogs about it on my website. So that's how people are finding it. This confirms it. Now, one helpful thing when you're doing these sort of marketing deep dives is, okay, now pull up my bottom. Actually, I'm going to go my 10 to 20 search queries. And what this will do, now I know it's doing well. I want to know what's not doing so well. I want to know what are my mid queries? What's my mid search queries? Like, where's something that I could improve upon? So just maybe some more content around DeepSeek. People want to know about that. Maybe some content around how to use Fable 5 and Notion. Maybe people want to read that on my blog. Maybe some more model comparison videos, so or articles. So that tells me a little bit about that. And the whole point of this is not to really show you how to use Google Search Console. The point of this is to show you how you can now actually automate this so you get these reports every week. So what we want to do is now put GLM's agentic skill set to use. Now, so we want to pull the search data for this. So pull search data for these things, and we want to find ranking opportunities for based on clicks, impressions, click-through rate, average position, and now you'll actually be able to see how it performs the multi-step agentic workflows right here, and then we'll get to how to actually automate this. But I think it's important for you to see that with these powerful models, it can use those Python scripts. If you just saw it in the thought process here, what it's doing is it has a Python script that it wrote for itself, and that's the power of using Hermes. It can use terminal commands like that. It can write itself Python scripts. It's not like web search. This is Python scripts that are actually pulling real data, and there you go. Look how quickly GLM pulled all of that for us, and that's why I really love the Z.AI coding plan. This is not a promotion, I promise. They're not paying me to say this. I just upgraded to Pro, and I love how much usage you can get out of it, and I love that it's so quick when you're doing this. Because when you're doing marketing work, you want rapid, you want quick, you want something that'll work. You don't want to sit there waiting. You want to stay in that workflow. So anyway, so now it's found some opportunities, 5 pages that need work. I don't think I'd ever go back to these. I would probably have it look more, I think besides the blog page, actually look at my regular pages. But anyway, so now that you've seen how searching works in Hermes, and honestly, this beats clicking around Google Search Console. That can get really annoying. What I want to do now is give it a task to now create the automated skill. Let's set up an automated email alert and Excel spreadsheet automation to create a new report. And then I'm going to list what I want in this report. We want top 5 blog pages, top regular pages, not from the blog, bottom 5 regular pages, not from the blog. So these are pages that we can improve with copy, meta titles, and descriptions. We want top 10 search queries. We want the mid 10 to 20 search query. Mid to 20, can't type, mid to 20 search queries. Per page search queries. This one's powerful because it will not just tell you how people are finding your site in general, it'll tell you how people are exactly finding that page on your website. So if you have an about page, how are people exactly finding that about page? If you have a pricing page, how are people exactly finding that pricing page? And that's different than how people are just finding your site in general. So along with that, in a separate, we want page improvement ideas, new blog ideas, all of this in separate color coordinated tabs depending on the query. We want a summary tab like you just saw before, and we want this in an email streamlined top query, streamlined, make a suggestion for best email layout. And then because Google Sheets is also connected, you can connect your Google Drive API once you have the Google Search Console. Also, put this in a Google. So now you can have it on your computer, you can have it in your Google Drive to share with your team members, and you can also get this automated something to your email. I also built another little skill, side note, called Q mode. It's called question mode. What this tells Hermes is, before you do anything, present the plan. And there are ways to do that, somewhere in here. But it's a little, as you can see, a little complicated to find. I think it's in prompt, so it's in the prompt snippets. It's not that easy to find. So Q mode, it's just a skill. It just tells Hermes, before you do anything, plan it out. So we're going to give it that command. Let's see what it comes back with. It should come back with something very similar that we already done. So there you go. It's recognizing Q mode as active. You can call whatever you want. Plan mode, P mode, whatever. That's a new skill I've been trying out with Hermes, and I find it really useful. So it doesn't just take actions right away. Like, it presents this plan. So that way you can review it, approve it, and I think it gives much cleaner idea as to what it's going to do. So let's close this sidebar here. Now I think you understand what we're doing. And this is, now I'm also working in a project folder, not to inundate you with too much information, but this project folder is a good idea to create because then it allows Hermes to work in a Google Search Console folder. And it'll know where to dump the data for you, and it'll always know it'll have that reference. So I recommend creating a project folder and having Hermes work out of that. We can close this. Okay, so now it's giving us some options. What email address? Yes, we want A. Let's do. We'll take a suggestion. We'll do a new sheet. Here's also the bigger part of the plan. So Q mode is on. See, it recognizes Q mode. It built itself a script, the weekly GSC report script. one file, runs on the credentials it has already. It's going to create the Excel workbook, a summary tab, top blog pages, regular pages, bottom top 10 queries, 10 to 20 per page. That's the helpful one. This could probably be combined with that, but let's see what it does first. Page improvements, and then new blog ideas. And then it's going to create the Google Sheet, same thing. It's going to set up a cron job, which is the automated task. Monday, 8 a.m. It'll throw an alert if it fails for some reason. Then we have our email layout suggestion. One screen max, spreadsheet carries the detail. I agree. Wins, fix these, new post ideas. And I'm also going to just say, let's see. I think that's fine to get started with. I was just going to say maybe include the top queries in an email too. We can always add it after. So let's confirm and continue for now. That gives it everything it needs to get started. So as you can see, it's still in queue. Like it stays in queue mode. It stays in that planning mode. I think that's really cool. For the final number, two quick read-only checks. Final proposal. This is why I love having this like little queue mode thing. I think it's great. So now, as opposed to doing that after with the queries, I wanted to make that edit. Let's also include top 10 search queries in the email too. Approved. Otherwise, please begin. Go on 1 through 4. So now it even gives you the command. Get started. I'm also going to tell Hermes launch sub-agents as needed to complete tasks quicker in parallel. And this will allow Hermes to then launch sub-agents or GLM, or I guess however you want to think about it, to do multiple things at once. So here you go. Let's now give it the command and you can get started. I want you to see the beginning process just as it starts going. And then we can probably just skip to the end and show you everything. It's just kind of taking everything in now. And the other thing about GLM, it has a huge context window. You can go up to 1 million tokens. So if you're doing these big marketing planning tasks, it can handle it. You can have a very long ongoing session with GLM as your model. So as you can see, it's just planning everything out here behind the scenes and its thought process. I tend to like to read that just so I can kind of follow along sometimes. I think that's helpful. But yeah, just to summarize as this is going along, as we're probably a couple minutes into this video at this point, you need the Google Search Console API, you need the Google Cloud API, you'll need to set up an automated task, you can give it its own directions, you can set up how frequently you want these reports, you want to tell it to create a color coordinated sheet. I like the color coordination. You can also connect your Google Sheets, Google Drive API, and then you can also have skills like planning mode, however you want to call it. You can set up a planning mode so you can actually plan your task before Hermes goes and does it. You can launch sub-agents so it can do things a little bit quicker and faster. And you want to create that project folder. I think having that project folder is very helpful because then you'll just know where things are going. Like every week, it's going to deliver that spreadsheet directly to my project folder that I know is already, collecting those spreadsheets. If you want to change it later, change it later. Hermes can just update the path that it's going to. If you don't know how to set up Google Cloud Console, it's probably like an hour-long setup process, and you can ask Hermes or any AI platform to walk you through it. So yes, GLM it's going, Hermes, GLM, whatever, it's going through a very long thought process here. I think this is, you're seeing the agentic skills here, where it's planning out a very long, complicated, multi-step task. I think the Z.AI coding plan is faster and smoother for this than like the Codex subscription. I have that as like a fallback, but yeah. So once it gets started, I'll show you that to-do list that it creates, and okay, it approved the scope. I approved the scope. It's kicking off now. So you go. One sub-agent runs environment verification. So it's just making sure everything looks right. Yeah, then you can see it has its to-do list here. Yeah, so basically it created itself a little sub-agent just to like kind of monitor everything as it goes through this process, which is pretty cool. So if something fails along the way, it has a friend. it launched a friend to watch over that. That's what that did. So that's why I really like prompting it with that sub-agent prompt. Okay, so sub-agent is verifying the environment. It's writing the script. So let's come back to this once it's done, and I'll show you the finished process. Okay, so here we can see the automated email that we'll be getting. It successfully created what we asked it for. It has the date range, it's delivering the totals, even has the comparison versus prior 28 days, showing me a couple wins, a couple fixes, the top 10 search queries, also some new post ideas, another Hermes Spotify video, Hermes Agent How To, like we're doing right now. And also we have our attached Excel sheet. Let me move myself out of the way. Cool, and you can download this. It has everything here. I think we have to download it, but here we have our top 10 queries, per page queries, like I asked for, page improvements. Let's check out the Google sheet here. Here we go, just like the email. Here we go, we have our top. Yeah, so we have to get it to fix the top regular pages and top bottom pages. It's not pulling that in, but here we have our top queries, 10 through 20 per page queries. I think these are the helpful ones. It gives you the page and the query per page right here. Page improvements, it has some recommendations, and also, like we just saw in the email, new blog ideas. So let's fix that one thing with the top pages. We have to fix the top pages and bottom pages. It is only pulling in the home page. Even if there are no to few views, it should have it along with recommendations every week. Also, we can save the new Excel sheet to the project folder, as well as delivering it in the email. These are the iterations you go through. You can, tweak it any way you like. To me, I noticed that. I think it's probably because most of my web pages, my blog gets the most views, so I think that's why I was only pulling in the home page. But yeah, this is how you would fix it. Nothing is set in stone. You can go back, you can tweak it any way you like. It'll update the script for you. It'll update the reporting. And this is why I like that plan mode. It stays on. Look what we discovered in that planning mode process. I think Hermes knows to stay in that. So I think that's great when you're building things like this. So anyway, Hermes is going to fix that up. I hope you've learned and discovered how you can now run these automated tasks for yourself when it comes to your marketing automations. With a little bit of setup, it can go a long way. Hermes is going to fix this behind the scenes. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this one, check out my other videos. There's some about how to connect different APIs for like DeepSeek and OpenAI, how to connect Codex to Hermes. And yeah, bunch of cool stuff. You can even create a Spotify DJ agent for yourself. I find that to be one of the cooler ones. But yeah, you can also check out my blog at jasonpollockmarketing.com. And yeah, I will see you next time. And Hermes is going to be busy behind the scenes doing something, I'm sure. All right. See you later.